Welcome and congratulations on your new Timney trigger. My name is Alex and I'm here to guide you through the installation of the Alpha Competition series for the Alpha Glock Gen 3, 4 and the Gen 5, as well as give a few tech tips when needed to make the installation process seamless. Without further ado, let's get into it. To get started on your Alpha Competition series installation, it's going to come with the Glock trigger shoe and trigger bar, the sear with a button head screw. You'll have two return springs, a silver and a red, along with a C washer, and then the tool kit. With the tool kit, you can actually use the 1/16 Allen as a punch. We will make sure that the firearm does not have a magazine, is unloaded to safely remove the slide. Start by removing the top front pin. And then for the bottom pin, make sure you move the slide lock, orient it so that way it can be pushed through. Remove the rear pin, and the whole assembly can be removed from the frame in one piece. To remove the factory trigger, go ahead and rotate it, pull up, and the spring should come out. This will give you your trigger housing along with its connector. We recommend using a factory Glock connector with our trigger assembly. And the sear housing will need to be reinstalled with the sear toward the back. You'll have a button head screw that is going to protrude out. When pressed in, should line up. Go ahead and back that screw out a little bit if needed, so the C washer can be inserted. With the C washer inserted, that button head screw can be tightened down, confirming that the sear is locked in place just below flush. For you Gen 5 people, this is where the disassembly is going to change up from the Gen 3 and Gen 4 models. On the Gen 5, we're going to remove the factory trigger bar from the trigger housing, same way, rotating it around. However, your return spring is going to be captured within the trigger housing. To remove this, you're going to want to take either a small punch or a flat screwdriver, get underneath the rear portion of that return. Go ahead and pry it up. On the front, you'll have this little capture. When it's protruding, it can be rotated up to the top position and can be removed. On our latest revision on the Alpha Glock trigger shoe, we have added a small hole that will go through from the trigger bushing area to capture the return spring. The original ones do not have this. It is a flat surface, and this is only for ease of installation. It will keep the spring in place while you assemble the rest of the components. On the trigger assembly with the two return springs, the red one is going to be a slightly heavier spring, giving you more positive reset as well as a little bit more positive wall on the actual trigger pull. The silver spring is going to give you the lightest possible trigger pull. To install the trigger assembly into the frame, first you're going to want to take your return spring and insert it into the trigger shoe. Grab your sear and sear housing, connect the trigger bar to it, and it can be placed into your frame. Next step here is to insert your locking block and your first trigger pin. Get it started and make sure that the holes align so that way you're not binding on the trigger shoe itself. With your pin aligned, go ahead and insert your slide lock so that way it's on the left side of the trigger shoe. Keep that aligned and push the pin the rest of the way through. Then you can go ahead and insert the top pin. Top pin will slide through. Now you will have the trigger return spring as well as your slide lock spring to watch out for. Get these aligned. Use the flathead screwdriver provided in the toolkit. You can push these two springs down out of the way of the top pin, either from the top or going from the front underneath. You want to depress those and pop the top pin all the way through. Then take your rear pin, insert that in here, push it in flush. If it sticks, may have to push down on the back of the trigger housing. Now you can go ahead and confirm. Trigger pull is moving that sear down as it goes back. When you're confirming proper functionality without the slide, go ahead and pull the trigger and then move the connector out of the way. This will allow the trigger bar to come back a little bit further and up just a little bit, and when you release, it should go back into position. Once that's confirmed, it's still depressing the sear, catching on the connector, you can go ahead and put the slide back on. Make sure it's clear and dry fire. Confirm that trigger pull. For a Gen 5 Glock, the top pin will not be there on the frame and is not needed. The rest of the install is going to be the same. And that's it. We hope this helped you with the installation process of the Alpha Glock Gen 3, 4, and 5 trigger. If you have any remaining questions, our world-class customer service agents are more than happy to help. Just give us a call, 623-223-1111, or visit timneytriggers.com and click the yellow Contact Us button on the right-hand side. If not, congratulations on installing your Timney trigger. You can now go shoot with ease, knowing you've got the world's finest trigger in your hands.